what you guys have to share with us. So without further ado, I'm going to turn our service over to you, Chuck. So come and take over. We welcome you here. I'm going to plug this in for you here. That should work.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be back here with you in Blind River at Emmanuel. The last time we were here was, I think, about 2 Sundays before you moved from the old church into this facility. So, through the course of the year, I've driven by here, I don't know how many times, going to different outreaches across the north, and just anticipating when we were going to come back to see your new place. And this is a fantastic blessing to the congregation, to the community, and congratulations on this wonderful, wonderful space that you're in. Thanks again for having us. My name is Chuck McDougall, and I'm the director of Teen Challenge North. And I've been the director there for about a year and a half, and just over a year and a half now, and just really enjoying what the Lord does on a daily basis at Teen Challenge. Now, I know that this church knows us very, very well. So I'm wondering if there's anyone here who doesn't know about Teen Challenge to raise your hand. Okay, there's one person. Oh, 3. Okay, that's awesome. 4 is like an auction. Do I have 5? There we go. Last year when I was here, I spent a fair bit of time talking about the history of Teen Challenge and our origins, where we came from, and how we got to be in Sault Ste. Marie. Not going to do that this year, but this year I have a short video that was produced, and it gives you a bit of an overview of the Teen Challenge on a national perspective and maybe a little bit of a global perspective. So just please give your attention there to this video.
Teen Challenge Canada is a faith-based residential program that helps adult men and women overcome drug and alcohol addictions. Each person comes with a story. Some dull their pain with marijuana, others abuse prescription pills, alcohol, cocaine, methamphetamines, or crack. All have lost control of their lives. They're business owners, skilled tradesmen, computer programmers, general laborers, and hairdressers. Because of their addictions, their lives are littered with destruction, broken marriages, failed education, lost jobs, defaulted mortgages, and children taken away. To meet the growing need for addiction treatment in Canada, Teen Challenge operates 6 sites across the country for adults over the age of 18. Through basic biblical principles, students in our program learn that they are valued and can contribute to society. Best of all, they discover that God gives them hope, freedom, and a tomorrow. Teen Challenge founder David Wilkerson taught these same principles. He started the organization in 1958 in New York City. His pioneering work resulted in more than 1,100 centers in 92 countries. In our holistic program, men and women get healthy in body, mind, and spirit as they eat nutritious food, exercise regularly, and connect with God. With help from our staff and certified addictions counselors, students identify root issues: bullying, dysfunctional families, divorce, death of a loved one, rejection, abandonment, and abuse. These and other deep hurts drive people to drugs and alcohol for relief. Preparing to live productively, they learn to balance a checkbook, use a computer, and speak publicly. Students are guided to become better parents and spouses. Through work duty and internships, valuable job skills are gained. Those who have not completed high school are assisted to get their GED. You can help even more men and women start a new life through Teen Challenge. Take a tour at one of our 6 centers to find out more about our ministry. Volunteer. You can mentor a man or a woman or share a skill with our students. Celebrate with us at a student graduation ceremony. Attend a fundraiser. Choose from a golf classic, a freedom ride and silent auction, a fundraising banquet, or our annual Christmas concert. Invite the Teen Challenge Choir to perform at your church or community group. Pray. Your ongoing prayers enable our students to overcome challenges. Sponsor a student for just $40 a month. Your financial support and notes of encouragement keep our students motivated to stay in the program. Consider a one-time gift toward our operating expenses or a special project. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of those struggling with addictions.
All right. Now, you're probably noticing that there's women in that video, and you might be wondering if we're offering a co-ed program now. The answer is no. We do have a women's center near Aurora. It's 2.5 hours from the London Center and 8 hours from the Soo, and we did that on purpose. Okay, so they are definitely, there's a bit of a separation there between the campuses because they have enough distractions. You know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, as I said, it's just wonderful to be here with you today, and technology is wonderful, you know, and we got everything set up this morning, had a couple of glitches. But I'm the type of guy who likes to rely on kind of old school, you know, and I always have a portfolio with my notes in it. And we had everything ready this morning and got in the van on the way here. And when we got here, realized that I left my notes on my desk in the office. So I think I've done this presentation enough times to be able to do it. But if I seem a little disjointed, it's because I'm a little disjointed because I don't have my safety net in front of me. Anyway, this morning I have 4 young men with me, students in our program, and I'm going to introduce them and ask them to stand. I'm going to start on the left, my left. We have Sean, and then Juan, and then John, and then Cody. Thanks for giving him a hand. It just feels good to give someone a hand, doesn't it? Let's do that again. Let's give him a hand. They've come a long way, and in a few minutes you're going to hear their story, and I'm sure that you're going to be blessed with what you hear, with what the Lord has done in their lives. Can I have that first slide up there? I'm not doing that. Okay. Just going to take a few seconds again just to elaborate on that short video. There are 15 Teen Challenge Centers in Canada currently that are being operated by 3 separate organizations. And the organization that Teen Challenge North belongs to has 6, as was mentioned there in the video. And since I was here last time, about a year ago, we've had the pleasure to minister to over 30 different men at our center. Now, a couple of those guys, actually this young man may meet them at Emmanuel Bible College. They just finished their first year at Emmanuel, and they're doing very, very well. A couple of our guys have returned to their family, have returned to work and to the community, and they're doing well. But unfortunately, there's a few of our students that we've ministered to in the past year that are struggling still. And I encourage you to continue to pray for all of our Teen Challenge students, past, present, and future. It's a tough go coming out of addiction. And sometimes there are a slip, sometimes there's a fall. But we are certain that the Lord who began a good work in them will bring it to completion in His time. Amen? Amen. So please continue to pray for all our Teen Challenge students. I asked how many of you didn't know about Teen Challenge, and thankfully there was only a couple of hands. I'm wondering if there are any Teen Challenge sponsors, monthly sponsors here. Amen. Thank you so much. Your contribution and your commitment to the program, to the students, is unbelievable, and we cannot begin to express our gratitude. It is so important. Our monthly sponsorship program is so important to our program. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. The guys, thank you as well. It's just an awesome opportunity. And our monthly sponsorship program really isn't just a financial ask. It's an invitation to you to get involved with our ministry on a deeper level. One of the things that we invite our sponsors to do is to write cards, notes, letters, encouragement to our students. And you would not believe how many times the Holy Spirit has used that when a guy is at his lowest point and he's ready to pack his bags and walk out the door. A card or a note or a letter will arrive from a sponsor with a prayer, with a scripture verse, with just a word of encouragement that speaks directly into the heart of what's going on in that man. And today we have 4 guys here today, and all 4 of them are eligible for sponsorship. So I'd like you just to consider that as you look at the presentation today. And if the Lord is dropping that into your heart to become a sponsor, please speak to me about it after the service. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to get out of the way for a second, and I'm going to invite the guys to come and share their testimony. You were here last year. You probably saw this format. It's the same as what we presented last year, but of course, we got 3 different stories. So please help me welcome the guys as they share Reality Is.
What is reality? Reality is growing up confused about why you exist, so you begin to associate with people who could care less about your purpose in life. It's discovering that alcohol and marijuana is more than effective at blinding you with that so-called purpose. It's becoming so angry and unbalanced by the sin in your life that you yell and scream at your own mother, the one woman who's loved you your entire life, and push her to where thoughts of taking her life are becoming more appealing than watching one of her sons destroy his. It's not thinking about a possible future wife and family, so you begin to sleep with more women than you care to remember. And reality is becoming so drug addicted and consumed by the sin in your life that you begin to inappropriately message one of a close friend of your family. How do I know that's reality? Because that was me.
What is reality? Reality is loving drugs and alcohol more than anyone, even your own children. It's demanding respect by beating on people, nearly killing them, especially them that love you. Reality is being jailed so many times for hurting people and committing robberies just to support your addictions. It's blowing college and your college money on drugs and alcohol twice just to blow your life away. And reality is waking up mysteriously on floors, in lawns, in cars, and in abandoned buildings after binge drinking, not knowing a single thing you've done. How do I know that's reality? Because that was me.
What is reality? It's seeing your older cousin make so much money selling drugs that at 14 you decide to join a gang so you can have that lifestyle as well. It's waking up in a hospital after being stabbed twice in a fight. It's setting up and robbing your best friend just for a little drug money. It's sitting in a jail cell for over 8 months and still not knowing when you'll be free again. And reality is having to go to the funeral of your best friend who was shot at 19. How do I know that's reality? Because that was me.
Though we've all had different realities, we've all been changed by the same truth. And the truth is, though I'm broken and imperfect, God is perfecting one of his many masterpieces in me. Truth is, I recommitted my life to the one true King. And the truth is, since being at Teen Challenge, I've been clean and sober for 9.5 months now. The truth is, I now look forward to sharing my renewed purity with my possible future wife. And the truth is, my parents are now more proud of me than they've been in years.
Truth is, God showed me my children are blessings. Truth is, Jesus taught me to love and respect others, even them that hate me. Truth is, my new addiction is Jesus Christ. Truth is, God put me back together and showed me how beautiful life is with him in it. Truth is, I was lost, and now I'm found.
Truth is, I'm going to finish school after finish the program. Truth is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And truth is, I know I'm free because of Christ's love, and nothing can take that away from me.
Second Corinthians 6:7 says, we faithfully preach the truth. God's power is working through us.
Psalm 91:4. He shall cover thee with his feathers. Under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler.
John 14:6. And Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one may come to the Father but through me.
And Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
Okay, just hang out with me for a second, you guys. So, John, just tell folks your name and where you're from and how old you are.
John, and I'm from Napanee, Ontario, and I'm 28 years old.
And you're getting close to the end, brother. Only a couple more months to go. And what does that feel like?
Awesome.
In case you kind of didn't pick up on it, it's a 12-month program, and it's not easy. It's living in a dorm room in bunk beds with 10 guys. And so it's a little bit cramped, a little bit crowded, it's a little bit hot, it's a little bit cold in the wintertime. And, for the number of incidents that we have, it's amazing that, it's just amazing that they get along as well as they do. Now, just recently, John, you had the privilege to go home to do some business, and you had the opportunity to share at your home church and to reconnect with some old friends and family. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I went home and I had to go home because I was subpoenaed as a witness for court for a friend of mine. And when I went home, I decided to share my testimony with my home church. And doing a testimony in front of a bunch of people you don't know can be nerve-wracking sometimes, but doing it in front of a bunch of people that know you and know how you've acted around them, and to admit and confess some of the things that you've done that aren't necessarily quote-unquote Christian is definitely a lot harder. But after doing so and getting the hugs and the applause and the encouragement and the love from the people who I thought, might judge me the most, is just amazing and incredibly encouraging, and again, awesome.
God is good. All the time. All the time. God's good. And Juan, what month are you in, Juan?
On 7.
And Juan, you're fairly new to this evangelical kind of Christian environment. So you are coming, kind of with eyes open, and you're with an open heart and open mind. And just share with us a little bit about where the Lord's bringing you on your journey right now.
He's just helping me, to know that even though I've done things, it doesn't matter, as long as, I believe in him, and I've been praying too, and I've been blessed, with a bunch of stuff. I had some personal issues, and I had to go to court, and those charges were dropped, and, my family's just getting closer again, so I'm just growing to learn more about myself and more about God.
Amen. Just about 2 months ago, I guess, you had a court appearance, and just prior to you leaving for your court date, you asked for prayer, that the Lord would, that he would be honored in the court proceedings, and he would take care of things. And so what was the result of that?
Yeah, just like I was looking at 5 years basically if I was found guilty, but just charges were just withdrawn. So.
Amen. It only takes faith the size of a mustard seed. It doesn't take big faith, it just takes a small little faith, and the Lord is faithful. Amen. And Cody, you were in quite a bit of a different place about a year ago. Want to just share a little bit about that?
A year ago, I was pursuing a college career, pre-trades and pre-technology, and I didn't get involved in the studies that I should have. I wasn't into the studies that I picked, and I blew all my college money on drugs and alcohol and the bars, and then my life went down the drain since then. And, I grew up in a life of being in jail so many times, and committing so many things. And finally, I came to a point where enough is enough. You get pushed to the back of the wall, and there's only one place you can look, and that's up. So that's where I was, and it got me to Teen Challenge, and thankful to be here, because the Lord is really doing a wonderful work in me from who I was a year ago. So.
And the enemy was really attacking your family in general, and it really kind of ripped your family apart. But things have changed since then. Amen.
Growing up, I got into high school. I didn't know I had 2 older brothers. I'm the youngest. And these guys were notorious for, doing the things that I did, and I wanted to be just like them. I didn't know my brothers, but I knew what they were about, so I wanted to be like that. It was up to me to keep up that name. And my parents were separated, and they married at 18, and they finally separated about 20 years later. So, and from then on, my life fell apart from grade 9, and started skipping school. My family was so destroyed that the devil actually destroyed it. Completed what he wanted to do. But my dad kept praying, and he was the only one praying, and he waited for a few years, and then my brother came back to the Lord, turned around, and they both kept praying. My mom turned around, and they got married again. And from them keep praying and showing the love of God through them, and not defining me of the things I did, but experiencing the things I did. The Lord lets you do that, and I came back to the Lord, and He's restoring my family to what it was before. So the Lord doesn't just give up.
Amen. He promised never to leave us nor forsake us, and we've been praying for your other brother as well, and we are believing that the Lord's going to fully restore your whole family. Amen? Give him another hand, please. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Let's pull that next slide up, please. So I just want to take a couple of minutes just to give you a brief overview of what's transpired since I was here last. I think I probably joked a little bit about coming to Teen Challenge in October of 2013 and having it snow on my second day. And, that was kind of a wake-up call for someone from Southern Ontario who lived 95% of my life within about 50 miles of the place I was born, to move to Sault Ste. Marie and to experience winter like that. And I think I probably said something, at least the people that I was meeting who lived here their whole life were complaining as loudly or maybe louder than I was. about the weather. And so I drew comfort in that, that this was totally a weird thing. But then it happened again this past winter. So now people are blaming me for coming to the north. And, I don't think it's my fault. I really don't. We'll see what happens this winter. If it happens 3 in a row, then I might have to move. Or I could, face threat of loss of life and limb or something like that. Anyway, that's a picture of our center. Just on the north side of Sault Ste. Marie, 26 beautiful acres. It's wooded. We have a river that runs beside it. It really is a really lovely, serene setting. And as I mentioned, we have capacity in that upstairs dorm area for 10 guys. And it's a little bit crowded, but right now there isn't 10 guys in there. There's 4 guys, those ones right there, and another gentleman is back at our center. He is a graduate of our program and is now working with us as an intern, or we call them now at Phase 4. Next slide. This is our staff, very small staff, staff of 7, including myself, and that's a little bit of an outdated picture. We haven't taken the brand new one yet because the gentleman on the far right actually left us about 8 months ago, and we have a new staff to replace him, and you'll see him in the next shot, so please go forward. These are our guys at Christmas time, just enjoying Christmas at the center. The guys don't go home at Christmas, just because there are a lot of distractions, a lot of temptations, a lot of old memories that really can sabotage a program. So the guys stay at the center for Christmas, and we do our very, very best to make it the best Christmas we possibly can. And we get a lot of help from our donors, our supporters, our friends who donate gifts and chocolates and fruit and you name it. And we just try to make it the very best as possible. Next, please. Here's our newest staff on the far left. Okay, that's our newest guy right there, Jerry, and that shot was taken with some of our guys on Boxing Day. One of our donors gifted the guys with a stay at a bed and breakfast on St. Joseph's Island, so we got to go there and just relax, get away from the center. There was an indoor pool, they were able to swim, went for some nice walks, and we just had a great time. Next, please. We do a firewood project at the center. It's our work detail, it's our primary work detail. And, we're not teaching guys how to be woodsmen or to start a career in wood cutting or wood splitting or anything like that. But it's just a great outdoor, hard work. It's a great opportunity for the guys to reinstill a good work ethic and some good values, working under authority within a team, beside their peers. It's just a great opportunity. And last year, the guys cut and split just over 350 cords, and that contributed, by selling it, contributed almost $25,000 to our revenue. Next, please. Again, just another picture of the guys working in the woodpile. Next, please. Prayer. Teen Challenge was born in prayer, and it only survives because of prayer. So our biggest challenge to every church that we go to, every individual that we talk with, please pray. Please continue to pray for Teen Challenge. We're only going to go forward through prayer. And so, again, I petition you to pray for us. Next. We have a couple of fundraising events that happen throughout the year. And the first one is coming up in 3 weeks' time. It's a golf tournament on July the 4th. And if I know some of you have supported and sponsored golfers, if there's any of you here who would like to golf, participate in the day, there's still room to get in. If you'd like more information on that, please see me after the service. I'd love to talk to you about it. It's just a great way to help us raise some funds that we need to keep our doors open. Next. We also have a motorcycle ride. And last year we held it on the 21st of September. This year it's the 26th of September. And it is just a fantastic ride. Last year it was the perfect day. The ride started at our center and it went to Searchmont, and then it went up to Pancake Bay, and then right back down along the coast of Lake Superior and back into the Sioux. It was spectacular. The colors were at their peak. It was just a wonderful, wonderful day. If any of you ride motorcycles and you'd like to be involved in this, again, please let me know and we'll get you the information that you need. Those 2 events helped us raise last year just over $50,000 for Teen Challenge. And again, really crucial. If you can help us out in any way with either one of those, we would love that. And it all comes down to this, graduation. That's what it's all about, completion of the 12-month program. But you know what? It's not really all about that. Because every student that walks through our door, all 30 of those guys that we've dealt with over the past year and a half, I promise you, they were shared the love of Christ. They were shared the gospel, whether they stayed with us for 12 minutes or 12 months. They heard about the saving power of Jesus Christ. And that's what it's all about. It's about every opportunity we have to share. And sometimes they graduate, and sometimes they don't. But it's okay, because the Holy Spirit has begun a work in them, and he will bring it to completion. Amen? Amen. Next. Okay, I get to get out of the way again. And last year when I was here, and Don was so kind to remind me that, when I came, I said we didn't have any music, and you would be really thankful that we didn't actually sing last year. And I hold true to that, because you really don't want to hear me sing for sure. But we do have some guys in our program now who are very talented, and they're going to come now and share their testimony and song. So I'm going to invite Sean and John to come.
Check. Hello. Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Lord, I find you in the seeking. Lord, I find you.
We should maybe start over.
Lord, I find you in the seeking. Lord, I find you in the doubt. And to know you is to love you, and to know so little else I need you. Oh, how I need you. Oh, how I need you. Oh, how I need you. Lord, I find you in the seeking. Lord, I find you in the doubt. And to know you is to love you, and to know so little else I need you. Oh, how I need you. Oh, how I need you. Oh, how I need you. Lord, I find you in the morning. Lord, I seek you every day. And I lie before your glory, woven in your threads of grace. I need you. Oh, how I need you. Oh, how I need you. Oh, how I need you. Oh,
will go where you shine, break the dawn, crack the skies, make the way bright before me. In your light, I will find all I need is you. Light for this light, I will go where you shine, break the dawn, crack the skies, make the way bright before me. In your light, I will find all I need is you. Oh, how I need 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 you. Good job, bro. Thank you. So, as Chuck said, my name's Sean. I'm from a town called Leamington, which is down by Windsor. Tomato capital of Canada. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And so I grew up in a Christian home. And, you know, my parents did their best to teach me the ways of God. And they did really good, you know, in a lot of ways, but they weren't perfect, as no one is, except Jesus. And, you know, there was a lot of things that they couldn't have really controlled that affected me deeply. You know, like I was rejected by most of my peers growing up, partly because I was a Christian, and partly just because there were attacks against me. You know, like I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was a kid, and started on Ritalin, which was really my first exposure to drugs, and you know, eventually got replaced by street drugs. So I struggled with depression for most of my life, and you know, it was something that I couldn't deal with, and so I needed something to cope with it. And so you know, there were times when I turned to God. You know, there were times when God showed me that He was there for me. But there were just things that I didn't let go of from my past. Bitterness and resentments, unforgiveness. You know, God's been healing me of all that since I've been at Teen Challenge. You know, this is my second time in the program. I did the one in London. And you know, despite all the times that I've run from God, even knowing how He feels about me, He's never let me go. He's always been faithful. He's continued to reveal Himself to me. He's shown me how great His grace really is. And His love never fails us. And if we're born of God, He will keep us. He will complete the good work that He's begun. And so I'm just going to share one more song. And this song, it's about Jesus being our bridegroom. And you know, I believe that's the greatest revelation that we have of Christ is, you know, what we see in marriage, that the way a husband loves a wife and a wife loves a husband is how it's meant to be when it really is in love and not out of any other motivation. So this song's called Holy. This is the story of the Son of God hanging on a cross for me. But it ends with a bride and groom and a wedding by glass and sea. Oh, death, where is your sting? 'Cause I'll be there singing, holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is the story of a bride and wife waiting on a wedding day. Anticipation welling up inside where the groom is crowned king. Oh, death, where is your sting? 'Cause we'll be there singing, holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Sean. That's what we have to look forward to, the wedding feast and that marriage supper of the Lamb. That's going to be awesome. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at that wedding feast. Amen? Amen. I spoke a little bit about, when I came here and having the shock of a Northern Ontario winter and, all that kind of stuff. And it really is just kind of joking because my wife and I just love it here. And every opportunity that we have, we like to get in the car and take off and explore. And we have found a few spots that we really, really love to visit. And this is one of them. Just put that next slide up. Does anybody recognize that spot? Catherine's Cove. I wish I had a prize to give you because you would win it, but I don't have a prize today. Sorry about that. But that is one of our favorite spots, Catherine's Cove. It's beautiful, it's serene, it's peaceful, and it's one of the few places that you can swim in Lake Superior in the summertime, because certainly you don't want to try to swim in it in the wintertime. But anyway, for about 2 weeks in August, it's warm enough to swim it. And it's just lovely there. And so this one day, my wife and I were there and just enjoying. There was no one around. We were just sitting on the beach, enjoying a beautiful day. You can see the water is pretty calm. It's not too windy or wavy as Lake Superior tends to be. And we just were enjoying ourselves. And this little hummingbird flew up along beside us. And we were watching it just a couple of feet away from us as it was gathering nectar from little flowers on the beach. And I had my binoculars with me, so I continued to watch it as it kind of flitted down the beach and collected nectar. And it got to be about 100 feet away, and I was still watching it in my binoculars. And then it did something unexpected and unnatural. It flew about 15 feet up into the air, and then it dive bombed right into the water. And it fluttered on top of the water for a second, then it took off, and it flew for about 10 feet and dive bombed back down into the water. It did that like 3 more times, each time a little bit shorter than the previous. And I said to my wife, something's wrong with that bird. And so she got up and she ran down the beach and she got into the water and she scooped it up into her hand. Next slide. Next. Have you ever seen a hummingbird close up? Like, they are amazing. The tiny little feathers, they're iridescent. And if you turn them a little bit, they change color. And so, we have the little bird, and it stretched its wings out, and so we're going to dry it off, and bring it back to our blanket, and let the sun warm it up, and then it would take off, right? So you're expecting a happy end to the story. Sorry. There was no happy ending to the story. The little bird continued to struggle, and then died on our blanket. I was having such a good day up to that point. It just hit me like someone punched me in the stomach. And so we buried the little bird there in the sand, and it just, on the way driving back into the Sioux, I'm just thinking, Lord, we were having such a great day, and then that happened. Why did that have to happen? It was such a nice day. We were having such a good time, and it really affected me. So I'm praying, like, Lord, what are you trying to show me? And this is what he dropped into my heart. He said, you are upset about this little bird. But think of how upset it makes me when my precious children do things that are unexpected and unnatural and look to a bottle or a weed or a pill or a needle for their excitement, for their comfort, for relief of pain, for relief of shame. How it makes me feel when they struggle and they die. It was too late for us to intervene that day with the little bird. But for the men that come to Teen Challenge and the women that go to the Women's Center, it's not too late to intervene. There's time. There's time to introduce them to the love of Christ. There's time for him to pour into their lives his transforming power. There's time for them to be transformed. We love to come and to share our stories. We love to come and share what the Lord has been doing in the hearts of our men, because it's a miracle every time it happens. But truthfully, we also have to come to ask for your help, because we cannot offer this ministry without you. We don't go after government funding. We do it on purpose. Governments change, their policies change, and we never ever want to have to bow to a government or to be politically correct. Teen Challenge has always been about Jesus. It always will be. You know, we talk about the drug problem, but the drugs aren't the problem. The drugs are only a symptom. The problem is sin. And the most important miracle that happens at Teen Challenge is salvation. That's what it's all about. Jesus is the only one who can take away sin. And he's at the center of our ministry. I spoke to you a couple times about sponsorship. And I'm bringing it up again because it's so important. You're going to take an offering for us, and we thank you for that. You have been so generous to us for a number of years. Thank you so much for your generosity. But if you really want to get involved on a different level, please consider monthly sponsorship. The 4 guys that are here today are eligible. Cody will have his cards in probably a week's time. But all 4 of these guys you can sponsor, and you would receive an information card that you could put on your refrigerator to remember to pray for them. It's important. And I ask that you prayerfully consider it. If the Lord has blessed you in that way, please don't feel like I'm trying to guilt you into it, but listen to the Holy Spirit. If he prompts you to give, please, I'd love to talk to you about it. And you know, like I said, there's time. I don't know a lot of you. I don't know most of you. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know if you yourself are struggling with an addiction. Maybe today's your day. Maybe today's your day to cry out to the Lord. Maybe today is your day to lay it down. If that's you, if you're struggling, if a family member, a friend is struggling and you need help, please speak to the pastor. Speak to the deacons, the elders. Speak with us after the service. We would love to pray with you. Today could be your day. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and share again.
Thank you, Chuck and guys, for coming and just reminding us God is real, God is powerful, that sin and death have been robbed of their power. I love those words you sang there, Sean, that there is victory in Jesus Christ. We've been reminded this morning that there's no sin so great that God can't forgive it, and there's no brokenness so great that God can't restore it and bring healing. And you are, your lives are a living testimony of that. And so we thank God for what He's done in you, what He will do in you. And we definitely want to support you in whatever way we can this morning, and then hopefully on an ongoing basis. So I'm going to ask our ushers if they will grab those collection plates. And I would just encourage you to open your hearts and your wallets and to be generous with this ministry this morning. Were there little envelopes in your bulletins? Okay, you can use that. You can throw money in there. If you want to write a check, you can write it to Teen Challenge or to Emmanuel Baptist Church, and all that money will get to Teen Challenge to support them. I invite you to stand together with me, and as we give generously, we're going to worship our God, sing about His amazing grace. Let's give and sing together.